The rain didn't fall. It attacked. It slammed into the concrete like it was trying to break something open. Mara stood outside the steel gate, soaked through, her jacket clinging to her skin like a mistake she couldn't undo. Water ran into her eyes, down her neck, inside her boots. She didn't wipe it away. The mansion loomed behind the gate. All glass and shadow. All warmth she wasn't allowed into. Lightning tore across the sky, bright enough to show her reflection in the metal bars. Pale. Shaking. Smaller than she remembered being. She pressed the intercom. Nothing. Her finger hovered, numb, then pressed it again. "Rowan," she said, forcing the words past her teeth. "Please. Just open the gate." Her voice cracked halfway through his name. She hated that part most. The speaker hissed with static. For a second she thought that was it. That he wouldn't answer at all. Then his voice came through. Flat. Cold. Controlled. "Go back to wherever you've been staying, Mara. I'm not doing this tonight." Her chest folded in on itself. "I just need a few minutes," she said quickly. 5. That's all. I need to tell you something. It matters. Silence. Not the empty kind. The kind filled with other people. Other sounds. A laugh drifted faintly through the speaker. A woman's voice. Soft. Comfortable. Like she belonged there. Mara's throat burned. Rowan spoke again. Sharper now. "I don't care." Her hand slid down the gate, fingers curling around the cold metal. "This is my home," she whispered. The intercom was already dead. She stood there anyway. The lights inside the house glowed steady and warm. Movement passed behind the tall windows. Shadows crossing rooms she used to walk through barefoot. Rooms that smelled like her shampoo once. She looked up. On the second floor, a silhouette paused by the curtains. A woman. Slim. Confident. Watching. Mara knew exactly who it was. Celeste. Rowan's consultant. His late-night problem solver. The woman who answered his calls now. The woman sitting in Mara's chair at dinner. The woman who smiled like she was already done fighting. Mara's hand drifted to her stomach before she could stop it. She hadn't told him yet. She'd practiced the words alone in her car, whispering them into the dark, timing it between breaths, trying to decide if she sounded strong enough. Standing there, drenched and dismissed, she realized the truth hit harder than the rain. He wouldn't have listened anyway. Thunder rolled overhead. The wind snapped her hair across her face, sharp and stinging. She pulled her phone from her pocket. The screen was cracked, spidered from when she dropped it earlier, but it lit up. 3 hours ago. "I'm on my way. We need to talk. It's important. Read." No reply. Mara laughed once. A short, broken sound that didn't belong to anything happy. She turned away from the gate. Each step toward her car felt heavier than the last. The road was half flooded. Mud sucking at her shoes like it wanted to keep her. She didn't fight it. She got into the car and slammed the door shut. Silence wrapped around her. Thick. Pressing. Her hands locked around the steering wheel. She stared straight ahead, breath shallow. Body shaking so hard her teeth clicked together. Not just from the cold. From knowing something had finally ended. She reached into her bag and pulled out the envelope. White. Thin. Innocent looking. Inside was a grainy black and white image. Small. Fragile. Real. 8 weeks. Her thumb brushed the corner of the paper. She pressed it back into the envelope quickly, like it might burn her if she looked too long. Slid it into her coat pocket. "I'm not begging," she said out loud. The engine turned over. Rowan stood in his penthouse office, a glass of bourbon heavy in his hand, the city lights stretching endlessly behind him. His jaw was tight. His phone rested in his palm like a weight he refused to drop. Celeste sat on the edge of his desk, legs crossed, silk dress riding up just enough to be intentional. She watched him over the rim of her glass. "You did the right thing," she said calmly. "She's been unstable lately. Always turning everything into a crisis." Rowan didn't answer. He finished his drink in one swallow and set the glass down harder than necessary. Celeste tilted her head. "You're not feeling bad, are you?" "I'm not having this conversation." "Good." She smiled. "Because you've been way too forgiving with her. She left, remember? Walked out after that fight. You don't owe her access to your life anymore." He looked at her then. Really looked. Something flickered in his eyes. Cold. Assessing. Her smile faltered just a fraction. Then his phone buzzed. A message from security. Camera shows Mrs. Hale leaving on foot, heading toward the main road. Weather's getting worse. His fingers tightened around the phone. Celeste leaned closer. What is it? Rowan didn't respond. He turned toward the window. Rain battered the glass. Trees below bent violently under the wind. Something twisted in his chest. He crushed it immediately. She'll be fine, he muttered. She always is. Celeste stood and placed a hand on his shoulder. Exactly. She'll cool off. Go back to that little rental she's been hiding in. She always does. Rowan stared into the storm. Didn't answer. The wipers couldn't keep up. They dragged across the windshield, squealing in protest, smearing water instead of clearing it. Mara leaned forward like that might help her see through the sheets of rain swallowing the road. Her hand stayed locked on the wheel. White-knuckled. Aching. The storm had turned mean. The road ahead curved sharply, barely visible, just darkness and flashing reflections. Her phone buzzed in the cup holder again. She didn't look. She already knew who it wouldn't be. She slowed as the tires skimmed over standing water. The car slid slightly to the side. Her heart jumped. Easy, she whispered. Easy. The headlights cut through the rain and then she saw it. A shape. Right in the road. Her breath caught. She slammed the brakes. The car screamed as it skidded sideways, water spraying up in violent arcs. The seatbelt locked against her chest, knocking the air out of her lungs. Her vision blurred as the car lurched, then stopped. Silence. Just rain hammering the roof. Her heart pounded so hard she could hear it in her ears. She stared through the windshield. The road was empty. Nothing there. She blinked. Looked left. Right. Over her shoulder. Nothing but wind-tossed trees and darkness. I'm losing it, she whispered. Her chest rose and fell too fast. She put the car back in drive. Her phone buzzed again. This time she looked. Unknown number. You shouldn't have come out tonight. Her blood turned to ice. Her fingers hovered over the screen. She swallowed and typed back. Who is this? The reply came instantly. Someone who knows you're alone right now. Her pulse spiked. She looked up, scanning the road, the trees bending violently, shadows shifting everywhere. The phone buzzed again. Drive carefully, Mara. Storms like this can be unforgiving. Her stomach dropped. She threw the phone onto the passenger seat and slammed her foot down on the gas. The tires spun, struggled, then finally caught. The car surged forward. I don't care, she said aloud, tears streaking sideways across her face. I don't care anymore. She just needed distance. The road dipped. Water pooled deeper ahead, dark and moving. The engine sputtered once. No. No, no. It coughed again. Then died. The dashboard went black. Her eyes widened. She turned the key. Nothing. Again. Still nothing. The headlights flickered weakly, then went out completely. Darkness swallowed her. Rain beat against the roof like fists. Her breathing turned shallow, panicked. She grabbed her phone. No signal. No, she whispered. Please. She tried calling Rowan. The call didn't connect. Her sister. Nothing. Emergency. The screen spun endlessly. Her chest tightened until it hurt. She looked out the window. Water lapped at the bottom of the door now, rising. I can't stay here. She shoved the door open. The storm hit her like a wall. Wind knocked her sideways. Rain stung her face, stole her breath. She stepped out, shoes sinking immediately into mud and water. She turned back for her bag and froze. Headlights. Bright. Fast. Coming up behind her. Relief surged through her so hard it almost made her dizzy. Thank God, she breathed. The vehicle didn't slow. It sped up. Her heart dropped into her stomach. Wait. She tried to move out of the way, but her foot caught in the mud. She went down hard, pain shooting through her knees as water splashed up around her. The headlights bore down on her, blinding, roaring through the rain. She threw her hands up. Stop! The vehicle screeched to a halt just feet from her. She knelt there, shaking, soaked, staring into the light. The engine idled. The windows were dark. The driver's door opened. A man stepped out. Tall. Broad. Dressed in black. Rain slid off him like he didn't feel it. Mara scrambled backward, palms slipping in the mud. Stay back. He stopped a few feet away. Said nothing. Just watched her. Then he spoke. His voice was calm. Flat. Mrs. Hale. Her blood ran cold. You're coming with me. I don't know you. I know. Then who sent you? He didn't answer. He reached into his coat. Her breath hitched, but he pulled out a phone, not a weapon. He tapped the screen once and turned it toward her. A photo. Her. Outside the gate. Tonight. You can walk, he said. Or this gets a lot worse. Her head shook violently. Tears mixed with rain. No. I'm not going anywhere with you. The man sighed. And before she could scream, everything went black. Rowan woke to his phone vibrating violently against the nightstand. He groaned and rolled onto his back, eyes burning as light flooded the room. His head throbbed. His mouth tasted like old bourbon and regret he refused to name. He grabbed the phone. Kane's security. What? His voice was rough. It's barely morning. Sir, Kane said tense. We have an issue. Rowan pushed himself upright, rubbing a hand over his face. It's 6 a.m. Whatever it is can wait. It's about Mrs. Hale. Everything stopped. Rowan's hand froze mid-motion. What about her? A pause. Too long. Her vehicle was found abandoned on Ridgeway Pass. Driver's door open. Engine flooded. Rowan swung his legs off the bed. Abandoned how? She's not there, sir. Cold spread through his chest. What do you mean she's not there? I mean her phone, her bag, everything was inside the car. But she's gone. Rowan was already standing. Send me the location. Already sent. But there's more. What? Tire marks. Another vehicle. Heavy. Looks like an SUV. The line went dead. Rowan didn't waste a second. He pulled on clothes, grabbed his jacket, and was out the door in under 30 seconds. The scene was worse than he imagined. Mara's car sat tilted in a ditch, half submerged in brown floodwater. The driver's door yawned open like it had been abandoned mid-thought. Rain misted the air, light now mocking. Her purse lay on the passenger seat. Spilled. Lipstick. Keys. Receipts. No, Mara. Rowan stood in front of the car, fists clenched at his sides. His face stayed blank, but his eyes had gone sharp. Focused. Dangerous. Kane approached quietly. We searched the area. No sign of a struggle, but the mud's torn up. Looks like she got out of the car. And then? Rowan asked. Kane hesitated. And then someone else showed up. Rowan's jaw tightened. Second set of tracks. Heavy vehicle. Probably blacked out. Rowan exhaled slowly through his nose. Pull every camera within 10 miles. I want every vehicle that passed through here last night. Already in progress. Rowan crouched beside the open door. He scanned the interior once, twice. Then he reached in and picked up her phone from the cup holder. The screen was cracked. Turned on. No lock. He opened her messages. Unknown number. You shouldn't have come out tonight. Someone who knows you're alone right now. Drive carefully, Mara. Storms like this can be unforgiving. Something dark twisted in his gut. Kane noticed the shift. Sir. She was being watched, Rowan said flatly. Kane nodded. Looks that way. Rowan stood slowly. The air around him changed. Trace that number. I don't care how. And if someone inside my operation had a hand in this. He stopped. His eyes were ice. Deal with them before I do. Yes, sir. Rowan looked at the car again. Longer this time. His mind replayed the night before. The gate. The intercom. The storm. He'd left her outside. He pushed the thought away violently. Get me everyone she's talked to in the last 30 days, he said. Every stop she's made. Every place she's been. Kane nodded and moved off. Rowan reached between the seats and pulled something free. A small white envelope. He frowned, then opened it. Inside was a grainy image. 8 weeks. For the first time, his expression cracked. Just slightly. Celeste lounged on her couch, coffee steaming in her hand, phone balanced casually on her knee. She scrolled with a satisfied smile. Her screen lit up. Unknown number. It's done. Her smile widened. Good. No trace. The reply came instantly. None. She won't be found. Celeste leaned back, content, and deleted the thread. Everything was finally in place. What she didn't know, what she couldn't have known, was that Rowan Hale was standing outside her building. And he wasn't alone. Celeste never heard them. She was still on the couch, robe loose, coffee cooling in her hand, scrolling like nothing in the world could touch her. The door exploded open. The sound was violent enough to rip the breath from her lungs. She jumped, coffee sloshing over her fingers as she scrambled to her feet. What the? Rowan walked in first. Slow, controlled, deadly calm. Behind him, Kane and 2 other men entered and shut the door. The lock clicked. Final. Celeste's heart slammed against her ribs, but she forced a smile, forced her shoulders back. Rowan, you can't just sit. His voice wasn't loud. It was worse than loud. She froze. She'd never heard him sound like that. Not once. Not even in anger. I said, he repeated, stepping closer, sit down. She did. Rowan stopped a few feet in front of her. He didn't relax. Didn't lean. He towered, eyes locked on hers like she was something already dissected. He pulled out his phone and turned the screen toward her. A message thread. The same one Mara had seen. Celeste's face drained of color. Recognize this? Rowan asked quietly. She opened her mouth. Closed it. I don't know what that is. Really? Yes. Rowan didn't blink. He turned his head slightly. Kane. Kane stepped forward and placed a tablet on the coffee table. The screen lit up with call logs, timestamps, location data. All tied to her phone. Celeste's breathing turned shallow. This is wrong. Someone must have. Don't, Rowan said. One word. Sharp as a blade. Don't insult me by lying. She tried to stand. One of the men shifted behind her. She sat back down. Rowan crouched in front of her, lowering himself to eye level. His voice dropped even further. You sent the messages. She shook her head, tears filling her eyes too fast. Too clean. No. I didn't hurt her. I swear. You had someone waiting on that road, he said. You knew she was alone. In that storm. I just wanted her gone, Celeste whispered. I didn't think. Silence swallowed the room. Rowan stood slowly. You have 10 seconds to tell me where my wife is. I don't know. 10. Rowan, please. 9. I didn't mean for this to. 8. She broke. Okay. Her body shook violently. I hired someone. Just to scare her. To make her leave for good. Rowan stopped counting. Who? Marcos, she sobbed. Marcos Vale. He works freelance. I paid him to take her somewhere far. Somewhere she wouldn't come back easily. Rowan's jaw clenched so hard it looked painful. Find him, he said to Kane. Already moving. Rowan looked back at Celeste one last time. If she's dead, he said quietly, you'll wish you were. Then he turned and walked out. Mara woke to the sound of dripping water. Her head felt like it was splitting open. Every part of her body ached. Her wrists burned. She tried to move. Rope cut into her skin. Her eyes snapped open. Dim light filtered through gaps in rusted metal walls. The air smelled like mold and oil. Cold concrete pressed against her legs. She was tied to a chair. Alone. Hello. Her voice echoed weakly. Nothing. She pulled at the ropes. Pain flared. She bit back a scream. Footsteps. Slow. Heavy. The door creaked open. The man from the road stepped inside. His face was rough, scarred. His eyes empty. You're awake, he said. Why am I here? She whispered. Please. I don't have money. I don't have anything. He didn't stop walking. I said it doesn't matter. He lifted his phone and took a picture of her. The flash made her flinch. Stop. He ignored her. What do you want from me? She asked, voice shaking. He looked at her for a long moment, then said the one word that shattered her. Your husband. Rowan's phone rang. Unknown number. He answered instantly. Where is she? A distorted voice replied, amused. Alive. For now. Rowan's entire body went rigid. What do you want? 5 million. Unmarked. By tonight. Done. One more thing, the voice added. Come alone. The call ended. Kane stepped into the room. We tracked him. Warehouse at the East Docks. Rowan's eyes went dark. Get the men ready. The docks smelled like salt and oil. Rowan stood in front of the warehouse, rain misting the air, the river churning somewhere behind the building. A black duffel bag sat at his feet. Heavy. 5 million reasons not to blink. The warehouse looked dead. Rusted walls. Broken windows. Graffiti peeling like old scars. But he could feel it. Mara was inside. His watch read 8:48 p.m. 2 minutes early. Hidden in the shadows behind him were Kane and 6 men. Armed. Silent. Waiting. Rowan's phone buzzed. Unknown number. I'm here, he said. Good, the distorted voice replied. Leave the bag outside. Come in alone. Hands visible. I want to see her first. You're not in a position to make demands. She dies, you get nothing, Rowan said evenly. Show me she's alive. A pause. Muffled voices in the background. Then the line went dead. 30 seconds later, the warehouse door creaked open. A man stepped out. Tall. Scar down his cheek. Cold eyes. Marcos. He held a gun in one hand. In the other, a phone. He turned the screen. Live video. Mara. Tied to a chair. Tape over her mouth. Eyes wide. Panicked. Rowan's chest tightened, but his face stayed still. She's breathing, Marcos said. Bring the money inside. Rowan picked up the duffel and walked forward. Marcos stepped aside. Inside, the warehouse was dim. Hanging work lights cast uneven shadows. The floor was cluttered with debris and old tarps. Mara sat in the center. Seeing her like that, broken, shaking, hit harder than anything else. She screamed through the tape when she saw him. Untie her, Rowan said. Money first. Rowan tossed the bag at Marcos's feet. It hit the concrete with a dull thud. 5 million, Rowan said. Now let her go. Marcos unzipped the bag, glanced inside, smiled. 2 more men stepped out of the shadows. Armed. Rowan's eyes flicked to them. Calculating. Deal's done, Rowan said. Marcos zipped the bag and slung it over his shoulder. Then he didn't move toward Mara. I said untie her. Marcos laughed softly. I don't think I will. Rowan went still. You got paid. Yeah. Marcos tilted his head. And now I'm thinking she's worth more alive. Your enemies would pay double. You don't want to do this. I really do. Then you just signed your death warrant. Marcos laughed louder. Rowan moved. The knife left his hand before anyone registered it. It buried itself in the throat of the man on the left. He dropped without a sound. Gunfire erupted. Kane and the others burst through the side doors. Rowan sprinted. Mara screamed as he ripped the tape from her mouth. It's okay, he said urgently. I've got you. He cut the ropes at her wrists, then her ankles. She collapsed into him, sobbing. I've got you, he repeated, holding her tight. Boss, Kane shouted. We need to move. Rowan hauled her up, arm locked around her shoulders. Stay behind me. They moved fast. Shots rang out behind them. Glass shattered. Metal sparked. Outside, cold air hit her. She shook violently. Rowan cupped her face. Look at me. You're safe. Tears streamed down her cheeks. I'm sorry, he said. For everything. The car was quiet. Too quiet. Mara sat in the passenger seat, wrapped in Rowan's coat, staring out the window like the road might answer something she couldn't say out loud. Her hands shook in her lap. Her throat felt raw. Rowan drove with both hands on the wheel. His jaw stayed tight. He kept glancing at her, then forcing his eyes back to the road. Mara, he said finally. No response. Mara, please. She swallowed. I was going to tell you that night. His grip tightened. Tell me what? She turned her head slowly. Her eyes were swollen, red, exhausted. I'm pregnant. The car swerved slightly. Rowan pulled over hard and shut the engine off. For a long moment he didn't move. What? He whispered. I found out a week ago, she said. I came to the house because I needed you to know. His chest felt like it was collapsing. I almost died, she continued, voice breaking. And you weren't there. He reached for her hand. She pulled away. You shut me out, she said. For months. I don't know if I can trust you anymore. Rowan had no answer. As she was right. Mara slept in the guest room. Not their room. She lay on her side, hand resting over her stomach, staring at the ceiling while the house breathed around her. Everything felt numb. The storm had destroyed the garden. Branches everywhere. Mud. Ruin. By morning the staff was already fixing it. Like nothing had happened. A knock sounded. She didn't answer. The door opened anyway. Rowan stood there holding a tray. I brought you food. I'm not hungry. You need to eat. I said I'm not hungry. He set it down anyway. Can I sit? She didn't respond. He sat. I fired Celeste, he said quietly. She's being charged. I don't care, Mara replied flatly. He looked at her then. You're right, he said. I'm the problem. She blinked. I ignored you. I let her in. I shut you out. Then why come for me? She asked softly. Because losing you made me realize I'd already been losing you. Tears welled in her eyes. I don't know if I can forgive you. I'm not asking you to, he said. I'm asking you to let me try. Silence. I need time, she whispered. I'll give you all of it. She finally looked at him. Then prove it. He nodded. I will. The nursery smelled like fresh paint and clean wood. Soft cream walls. A carved crib waiting patiently in the corner. Shelves stacked with books neither of them had read yet. A rocking chair angled toward the window, where sunlight spilled in like it had nowhere better to be. Mara stood in the center of the room, one hand resting on the curve of her stomach, the other holding a small stuffed bear. She turned it over slowly like she was making sure it was real. Rowan watched from the doorway. You've been in here a while, he said quietly. She smiled without looking at him. I'm trying to make it sink in. He stepped behind her and wrapped his arms around her, careful, steady. His hands settled over hers. It's real. She leaned back into him. Are you scared? Terrified, he admitted. She laughed softly. Good. Me too. They stood there like that for a moment, breathing together. You've changed, she said. You're here. I almost lost you, he replied. I'm not making that mistake twice. She turned in his arms and looked up at him. If you ever shut me out again, I won't. She studied his face, searching for the lie. Didn't find one. Later that night, Rowan sat alone in his office. No glass this time. Just the ultrasound pinned to the wall. Another one beside it. 18 weeks. A boy. His phone buzzed. Mara, come to bed. He's kicking. Something warm spread through his chest. He shut off the light and went upstairs. She was already lying down, one hand on her belly, eyes heavy with sleep. He slid in beside her and placed his hand over hers. The baby kicked. Rowan froze. She laughed quietly. Told you. He leaned down and pressed a kiss to her stomach. Good night, he murmured. We're ready when you are. She threaded her fingers through his hair. We're going to be okay, right? He looked at her. Really looked. Yeah, he said. We are. Outside, the garden bloomed again. The damage repaired. The storm passed. They'd survived it. Together.